Okay, because of the absence of a save feature in this game, I I've had to play through the game again and get up to this part. So this isn't really a direct continuation from yesterday's part playing this. Um, I've just made it seem that way by playing up to this point in the game. And I'm gonna be eating soon, so hopefully I can get this half-hour part done before I'll be called down. I'll be called down to eat. To eat. So yeah, let's get on with this, shall we? So I can't remember where much about this place really. I remember it. Oh, yeah, see it used. It could be dangerous like that. So I'll make this jump and hope nothing else bad like that happens. Yeah. So we're continuing the first ever Dizzy game, and so making that bit of floor collapse before over the water just then is what caused that piece of the floor to fall. So we'll just walk this way, and I'll be careful this time. So walking over there made that floor up there disappear as well, so I'll be careful again here just to make sure no more floors collapse, and on we go to try and get that pickaxe which is over there. And as you can see, I've lost more lives than I was really wanting to. With how I was a newbie on my way here, and I lost two, one at the beginning and one when trying to freeze the water up above, and I mean to the right, and then I lost that life just then when by falling for that trick where the floor disappears over the icy cold water. So let's not cry over spilt milk, though. Let's try to press on and complete the game here. I don't think that gate there ever goes away, even though the others all did in the end. Strange, really, isn't it? The OCD perfectionist in me wouldn't have been able to let that stand if I was the programmer of this game. So let's hope I can go down onto that trampoline without dying and leap up onto that other platform there. Not a perfect result, but this'll do. And now to jump onto here. And I think this rusty old pick here that I've got is used to smash a boulder in a cave closer to the end, but I won't be doing that just yet, since I like to press on. I like to press on at my own luxurious pace, doing the puzzles as I encountered them earlier in the game, rather than stretching myself too thin by going to the later parts of the game before I'm really ready to. So here you've got to be careful to avoid the falling stalactites, which as you can see spawn rather regularly and can be quite tricky in the way that they'll spawn regularly and kill you if you touch them at all. They don't just have to fall on you, you see. You can go up there and touch them and you will die as well. So it's quite a predicament when you're faced with falling stalactites in this game. And I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce stalactites either, really, because as you can probably tell by my verbal stuttering sometimes and my umming and ahhing and whatnot, I don't generally get out much, and I don't generally talk to the public much either, so yeah, I'm often stumbling on my words and whatnot like that. And because I saw a stalactite fall down just then as well, I'm naturally gonna be cagey about making this jump away from this trampoline now. But I can now do it falling like that. Yes, and well, I need to watch out for that stalactite that just came down as well, so I'll make my jump now. And as you can see, with all of these little bumps here and there in the ground, this is another reason why people have found this game hard in the past, so I've heard. And as you can see, I'm having a spot of trouble making these jumps as well. But that's how old games were, especially in the mid-80s, and this was made in 1986. And funnily enough, believe it or not, this game was actually considered easy for its time in 1986, according to what the reviewers and in magazines said, I believe. And so, you can only just imagine how hard other games of the time were, can't you? Like games like Manic Miner and whatnot, although I don't think Manic Miner was it was mid-80s. I think Manic Miner was early 80s possibly. And I'm proud to say that I was able to complete that a few years ago. And what I didn't tell you then was that that garden trowel thing is able to move these mushroom trampolines like I just did with that one then, since with them being mushrooms and all, you'd probably find them in the garden. Except in real life, it's to be hoped that children don't try bouncing on them and end up flattening them, or say throwing themselves into the next door neighbour's fence, isn't it, and injuring themselves, and then I'm sure the parents who hasn't done a good job raising that child will be suing the neighbours who owns that fence for not having a safe fence, and before you know it, the whole matter would be blown up in court like that, wouldn't it? Yes. It's a rather sorry state of affairs, the world today, isn't it, really? And I wouldn't have thought these game videos that I do would become full-blown rants, to be honest, but to be honest, the way I've always had quite a way with words and a lot to say in life, I do kind of feel like it would be inevitable that I'd start ranting and raving eventually in these game videos as I played through them. And to be honest, it's kind of fun as well, isn't it? I mean, I always thought it'd be good before I started making these game playthroughs if I was able to trigger some thought-provoking conversations with people as I played these games, and then I'd find out that I had more in common with people than just our mutual interest with games, but also our opinions in regards to the status quo in life and whatnot. But anyway, I'm forgetting what I'm doing in the game now, so what I need to do, I think, is use these rusty bolt cutters to cut a chain that's tethering some kind of a boat or raft in place by this body of water in this cave to the left here. And I'm actually feeling rather happy about my commentary at the moment as well, so I use this here, and I best jump on this in case it never comes back, but I think it will, yeah. And so I remember this screen being tricky with all the stalactites as well, so I'd best be careful here. Yeah, there we go. I think it's even harder getting back as well. I can't remember what this strange looking thing. Oh, leprechaun's wig. That's what I use. That's what I use for the potion in the cauldron that we saw at the start of the game before. It's one of the ingredients anyway for the potion which you use to kill the evil wizard who's responsible for all of the problems that you're facing in this game. A rather nasty man called Zax, who is very tall and a very powerful magician. So yeah, a very powerful magician. So I'll go and put this leprechaun's wig in the cauldron over here, and then we'll try and figure out what to do next, shall we? Yeah, we'll press on past that cave where I was before, and see what other puzzles there are to be done. Because I think I left the free acne bird seed over on this side of the map, and I'll need it because I noticed when I was playing up to this point earlier on off camera that there's a bird on that screen where I felt anxious in the last part of this video where that single eye is, and so I'm eventually going to have to go back to Shudder and kill the bird that's there with the bird seed, and then get the eye and solve the puzzle with the idol thing, which I don't like, yeah. But first I'll go and get the codes, because as you saw on that screen that I was on just before, there's a rain cloud with raindrops falling from it, and I'll need the raincoat in order to absorb the raindrops, and without killing myself, and then I'll be able to press on further. I think all in all, we're getting possibly close to the end of the game now. In fact, I'm wondering if I might be able to do this in 3 parts, maybe. I can't remember what the other ingredient is for the cauldron. I believe it says in the storyline for this game, which you can read on yolkthorpe.com. But yeah, forget about that now. I just need to find that coat again. That's a cute little tree on there, isn't it? Watch out for the apples again. Don't think you get many plastic raincoats in real life, do you? As a matter of fact, to me, a plastic garment or overcoat or whatever would sound rather tacky to me, I think. I don't think I'd really trust it to be able to protect me from the elements, as you could say. I think one of the things that scared me about that skeleton in that pit when I was young was the fact that it's so big compared to Dizzy. But then again, when you think about it, when you see shopkeepers in this game, which I'd imagine will be human-sized, Dizzy appears to look maybe about 4 feet tall next to them if you assume that shopkeepers are about 6 feet tall, with them being male and whatnot. So, um, I'm guessing that if that skeleton in the pit was alive and able to stand up, then maybe that would appear 6 foot tall or so when stood next to Dizzy. Or maybe 7 foot, but then again, there's quite a few 7 foot tall people in the world, isn't there? So it's not all that scary after all, I don't think. Even though Kevin Nash was ultra scary in the second Ninja Turtles film when he portrayed the mutated Shredder, I thought. Yeah, when I used to watch the second Ninja Turtles film, and the Super Shredder mutants lifted Leonardo up to his face and said how he didn't care if he killed himself in the falling wreckage so long as he managed to take the turtles with him. I always thought it must have been quite traumatic for Leonardo to see that mutated face of Shredder's up close. I know I would have been traumatized possibly for life, and that I probably would have been seeing it in dreams and nightmares afterwards. Yeah. With all my talking, I keep almost forgetting what I'm doing. But what I need to do now, I believe, is get that graveyard key so I can open that door that we saw when I was on the right side of the map before. Yeah. Seeing the word graveyard up there makes me think that when I was young, I used to think that word was pronounced graveyard. Yeah, back when I used to play these types of games when I was a kid, yeah. That moon up there with those clouds going back over it makes me imagine people with unfortunate enough to have certain genes within them turning into werewolves on nights like this as those clouds pass from over the moon like that. So it's to be hoped there's none of them in the nearby vicinity, isn't it? I mean, Dizzy is resourceful and smart, but he's only very small, so I'd imagine a werewolf would be rather nightmarish for Dizzy to come across. Anyway, we've opened the door just now. And now what I need is that single eye type thing. And so that means that when I get to that particular puzzle, that I'm going to have to pause the recording. But first, in order to postpone that, I think I'll go down that elevator shaft that's close to the beginning of the game where the ghost is. Because I've been wary about doing that in case I get stuck down there because of how there's a lift at the bottom of the shaft that isn't moving, but I've got a distinct feeling within me that once you go down there, the lift starts moving by itself, but we'll try anyway, shall we? Yeah, I say so. And considering the fact that I'm the only person here, then my one vote is enough for the decision to be made, I think. Especially considering not many people are commenting on my videos at the moment, yeah. So down we go. But I must not forget the ghost hunting laser here, which might be a tribute which might be a nod to one of the other Codemasters games in the past called Ghost Hunters. I think that was one of their first games which might have actually been made before this, so let's go down there and hunt a ghost. Which almost avoided me there. And yes, I was right about the lift, wasn't I? Anyway, I'll leave the ghost hunting glazer there, and we'll see what's in here. I don't like the look of that pit, but oh yeah, I'd best take the garlic to deal with that vampire bat first, so let's go up there and get it. That skeleton down there had a bad day, didn't he? Or I'd say a few bad weeks, maybe, since he was probably strung up there without being fed for a few weeks before he died of thirst or starvation. Well, probably in a few days, maybe he would have died of thirst rather than starvation. Can't remember what's down this pit, but we'll see anyway. I've got plenty of lives, so doesn't really matter if I have a spot of trouble down there, I don't think. I remember this being kind of tricky. Can't remember what's in that bag either. Let's go. Yeah, that was lucky, wasn't it? I remember what this purse of gold's for. It goes in that bucket that we saw in that place on the far right side of the map. Oh, maybe the purse of gold. It seems familiar now that the purse of gold makes this floor come down. Yeah, like that. Knowing my luck though, if I drop it, it'll go back up and I won't be able to get through again. Let's try. Oh, it stays. Oh, isn't that fortunate? I can't remember if I've ever managed to get that life there or not. Seemed like the bat was having a bit of a spasm then though, didn't it? A can of 3-in-1 oil. I can't remember what this is for. I think the only way to get back across that pit is to use the trampoline. It's getting dark outside now since it's just past 25 to 7 in the evening. It's been a rather bright and warm day and I'm topless right now because it was a bit too hot for me, and I don't like it when days start getting a bit too summery in the springtime. On the way to summer, I much prefer the cold, wintry days and the dark nights. Or at least when the days are longer, if we don't have that rushed feeling, the same feeling like we need to rush to do things before night falls and whatnot. I can't remember what I should be doing now. 3-in-1 oil. I guess now I can't postpone it any longer, so I'll go and do that puzzle with the eye and the idol. Reluctantly, I might add. But I was kind of close to not continuing with this game at all, so at least I feel like I can do it. I feel like God approves of me doing it. Hopefully I'm not wrong. So, onwards and upwards we go. AI is on this next screen up here, so I'll stop the video here since it's a respectable length, and I'll see you next time after I've done the puzzle that's making me a bit anxious. So I'll see you all next time, good viewers, goodbye.